Hey there, Cheese here, and welcome back to the Mega Man 02 Perfect Runs. Today, I feel like robbing a train, so we're taking on Panter Flauclaws. He's guarding a train. We want the stuff on the train. It's a... Whoop, hey, no, I want to do that, come on. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward mission, honestly. You know, I love train stages and all, but I really wish that more often they were something other than just flat ground going forward. Oh well, what can you do? Wonderful music, though. That seems to be standard for 02, especially in the early parts of the game. Anyway, I like having the Buster for most of this stage because the main enemies are Spikings. Also some carry arms that drop Spikings onto the tracks, Pantheon Hunters walking around, and archers that tear through them like tissue paper. Please don't let them tear through Zero. Normally the best way to deal with Spikings is to memorize where they appear and react before they appear so that they don't barrel into you all of a sudden. Since every place in this train looks the same though, I can't do that, and so I have to come up with a set of rules to go by to keep myself out of harm's way. First off, by keeping a steady stream of shots ahead of me, I can look at only the skyline and watch for any incoming whatchamadoos. What are they called? They're yellow. They're not Skyclaws. Oh, whatever. I said the name earlier. Carry arms, that's it. That limits what I have to look at, because not only will my shots slow down any incoming ground-based Spikings, but they also make a sound when they damage them, and that sound will tip me off that I should stop. That's the only crap we'll be dealing with. I use that term very loosely in this stage, so I'll just explain them when they're actually relevant. Also, be sure to dash under that particular Spiking. Backing off from it doesn't work at all. Not at all. And here's the mid-boss. We've come across the supplies just as a group of carry arms are about to try and take them someplace safer. So long as you kill them before they're on screen for more than a second or so, they'll keep coming down in this same set pattern, and it's very easy to keep track of. I just lost the pattern though. But I've managed to pick back up some other pattern, so that's good. So long as... well, you lose points if one of them manages to carry a box away, and you just have to kill enough of them to get back on with the stage. There's not much left to it now that we've secured the goods. Just a few... I don't know if those are Pantheon Hunters or Guardians actually, but now that they have the same low amount of health in this game, it doesn't really make much of a difference. And a couple Spikings, and we're on to the boss. Where is he anyway? Oh, there he is! Standing on another train watching us for who knows how long with a stern look and his arms crossed. Panter Flauclaws, everybody. I love this guy. Probably the coolest boss in the game. Got a pretty fun fight, too. Pretty active. Though it bugs me that the main source of his damage seems to be leaping into me and running into me. Mostly leaping. Because of the amount of close range attacks this guy has, you want to keep your distance. And the best way to do damage is to react to him. Wait for him to attack, get close with the saber, and get away. Electrifying the train he's on is his EX attack, and he always goes to the center of whatever train he's on to do that. Ooh, that was... this is all very close. When he goes to the center of the train he's on for his EX attack, that's the only time he runs on the ground, so you can actually tell it's coming a lot earlier than you might expect. Ooh, he's also invincible during it. Ugh, and I barely avoided landing too early that other time. The rest of his attacks, none of them stand out in any real way, aside from suddenly dashing across the trains into you. That's annoying, and there's nothing I can say to do about it other than try to stay away. He's almost done though. 1/ plus one other attack will do the trick. Yeah! Zero's finishers are so stylish. Oh, you were plenty good enough. Now that was a fun fight. Okay, I feel better now. And just to reconfirm, yep, 0 damage. Lovely. And we captured his EX skill, the Spark Shot. Significantly better than it was in the classic series, almost by default. I don't know what it does, and I can say that. Actually, I'm pretty sure I remember what it does, but that's beside the point. So now we have enough supplies to launch our all-out attack. Our all-out attack? I don't know if you should be calling it that exactly, but okay. Whatever. Let's head back to CL and save, shall we? This was a good one to get out of the way. Stages filled with memorization are just not my cup of tea. Anywho, that's all for this. Well, that's all for this successful part. Coming up are extras and outtakes. There's plenty of them. Enjoy! Actually, because of some issues I ran into during editing, we're gonna save the extras for this stage for later. While we're here though, a couple things I'd like to mention. First off, in the successful run, I never mentioned the second rule I made to keep myself safe. That one had to do with the arches passing by. Anytime there's an arch incoming when you have to jump from one train car to another, you can get caught in some pincer situations. And I was able to come up with a way to keep me out of those situations. If the train car that I'm coming up on is empty underneath, that is, Zero can enter it and walk around in there, move on to the roof of the next car. If it is solid and Zero can only go on top of it, don't move on. Instead, drop down and rest on that little bit of metal sticking out of it. Depending on where you are in the stage, you can get caught in some kind of nasty pincer situations if you don't follow those rules. You'll see one of them in the outtakes, in fact. Also, I had 2 very different recording sessions in this stage. Main reason I'm speaking on this is because the Zero collection actually doesn't use the entire top screen for the game window. So, whoops, for the past several videos I've been recording a game with black bars all around it. I didn't notice that until after the first recording session this time. Anyway, there's your extras, if you can call them that. And on to the outtakes. Enjoy! I also like using the obstructions in the face. Are really nice to watch plow through large swarms of enemies. I got caught myself. You latched onto them before pulling enemies in. I hate. I just want to move forward. Is that so much to ask? Normally, memorization is the way to deal with them, but when everything looks the same, it's harder. Double freaking tap dash! Let me just... Don't join me. Go. Leave. I want nothing to do with you. I run into it some in the outtakes. Maybe you'll see it there. Aha! You! I'll talk about them when they're more relevant. Perhaps in the outtakes. Oh, not again. Explain it when it's important. Also, one bit of actually memorizing where something happens. Dash under that spiking. Dash over that spiking, not into it. For more than like a second on screen, they'll keep coming in this pattern, and you won't even really have to move to... Oops. Yeah, see... And that's what happens when you do leave one alive a little longer. The pattern suddenly changes. This is Panter Flauclaws, everybody. I like him. He looks cool. I like him less. Please don't do that again. Gotta be far away from that. Ooh. Anytime you feel cornered, you can be down here. Or not. Actual attacks that he uses. Can you get away? Yeah, there's his EX attack, and it's probably the safest thing he can do. friggin', are you serious? Despite all of the attacks Panter Flauclaws can use, his most dangerous ability is moving, and to you, I can't believe you. You want to keep your distance because of how many close range attacks he has? You're really annoying me, you know that? One is to perform his EX attack, where he goes to the center of a train and electrifies the entire thing. Why did I think that was ever a good idea? That's a good question. It's a really good question. What the heck was that? Thankfully a pretty fun fight. You have got to be kidding me! I'm tired of you. Before I reveal the rating for this stage, there's something I need to show you first. Roll the footage. So, none of Panter Flauclaws' attacks go below where he's standing, except for the ones that go way out to the sides of the stage, and his EX attack, which is very obviously telegraphed. Meaning, this strategy is basically 100% foolproof and super easy. So hopefully it makes a little more sense now when I say... Panter Flauclaws gets a 1 out of 10. All of the difficulty in this stage came from trying to make an entertaining video. Had I slowed down, stopped talking, and focused on the game I was playing, it would have been much easier to react in time to all the spikings, and I wouldn't have had to even go to the trouble of creating those rules for myself. That covers basically the entire stage, and, well, we just covered the entire boss, didn't we? Honestly, I'm a little sad about that. Panter Flauclaws is definitely the coolest out of this bunch of bosses, but you can just... It's a shame. Ah well, hopefully doing things the rest of your way made for a much more entertaining video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd love to see you back for the next one too. Until then, this has been Cheese. Take care.